So I said something like, we don't see things the way things are, we see things the way we are. Yeah. That has to do with perception and worldview.
Our life is largely ruled by your perception, how you see things, how you interpret things. And I always say to people that perception is more powerful than reality.
How can people change their perception?
There are two sets of people that can't change. A dead man cannot, a fool will not. So first of all, you must have a fluid mind that, I can change. And one of the ways to really change your perception is to engage in honest conversations with people and just read books.
How do you think the generation, the youth of this generation can actually inspire themselves to create value for themselves?
One of the things that makes you successful is to become a person of value. What is value? Value is when you solve a problem that people need. Why is Jesus so important? Why is Jesus so indispensable? He's so indispensable because he solved the greatest problem of humanity, sin and death and the devil.
Exactly. What's true leadership? So most persons, they define leadership as being in the front. I'm a leader, I'm the front, I'm the Egber, I'm the chairman.
A leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. Position doesn't make you a leader. Position only reveals your ability to lead. We can give you a car and we realize that you don't know how to drive.
True.
We can give you a car and we realize that you know how to drive. So leadership in itself does not begin with position.
Hello people, this is Wire and I'm your favorite host, Sam Speaks. Wire is a platform where we explore transformation through proper mind renewal. In Wire, we believe that mindset is the foundation for everything. The way you think is the way you live. And on today's conversation with me is my very good friend, fine young man, and I call him Dr. Nelson. You need to hear this man speak. In fact, the wisdom that comes out of his mouth will blow your mind. Welcome, Dr. Nelson, to the show. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much for having me around.
Yeah, it's been an honor, sir. I know I've done a little introduction, but I want to give you the honor to introduce yourself, sir. You can introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you. My name is Nelson Iwansedo. I'm a personal leadership development coach and a bookman, and I'm the founder of the Bridge Bookshop, where we serve as the bridge between the knowledge you seek and the exact book that contains it. Thank you so much for having me around.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. I'm glad to have you here on the show today. So you talked about the Bridge Bookshop.
Yeah.
You know, the first time I heard you talk about the Bridge Bookshop, I was really wowed. And I really want to know what inspired this idea. I know it's beyond, it's more than just a bookshop.
Yeah.
It's beyond that. So what inspired you to go ahead with the Bridge Bookshop?
Okay, first of all, with my quest for my desire to help people improve, get better, because I believe that as humans, we have the capacity to always evolve, to always grow.
Yeah.
Growth is part of our nature. And over the past years, I've been very active in helping people discover themselves, develop themselves, grow their leadership. And one of the ways I've come to do that, one of the things that helps that is knowledge. Knowledge plays a vital role in getting that done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Books became one of the avenue through which that finds expression. I help people. So over the years, I read a lot and I get books and I give to friends. And they started asking me that, sir, can you help me get this book? They ask for recommendations and I give it to them.
Yeah.
So at some point, they asked me to help get the books for them.
Okay.
So which I did. And over time, I decided to say, okay, let me start a bookshop. Now, bookshop, why bookshop? The idea behind it is that we are the bridge between the knowledge you seek and the exact book that contains it. So we don't just want you to read books. Like people say, read book. No, we give you the exact book that contains the knowledge you are looking for. So when people come to us, the first thing we ask them is, what exactly are you looking for? What do you want to read about? I want to read about leadership, book that can help me develop my leadership, self-leadership, or book that can help me develop my leadership with the team.
Yeah.
And we give you the exact book that contains that knowledge.
Yeah.
So you are not just reading wide as it were, but you are reading the specifics, and that's where the real transformation comes from. Because a lot of persons says that, I don't like to read, and I tell them it's because you've not read what you're interested in.
Wow.
If you read something that's really solve a problem, you read. You notice that students always read once it's towards exam period.
Yeah, yeah.
Why? Because they know that the knowledge in there is very vital in helping them solve a problem they will find in the exam hall. If you are the type that doesn't like to read, most times it's because you've not found the book that contains the knowledge you are looking for at that moment. And that's where we come in to help you be that bridge between the knowledge you are looking for and the exact book that contains it.
Yeah, in this culture that people don't want to read. People don't want to read because reading is like a tax. They bring love shortcuts for them. I think I remember one time, I could relate to what you said. I remember one time I was looking for a book on psychology, and I think you recommended The Why of Everything.
Yeah, Start with Why.
It starts with Why. And I think the first chapter, I was like, wow. I was so eager to finish the book, and from there I got other books, like you always say, the world is ruled by dead men. So I think you've said that, you've used that phrase like twice when we're talking. So I want you to throw light on that. The world is ruled by dead men. Like, are we having ghosts come to rule us? Because when last I checked, the president we have is alive.
True.
Okay, so can you throw light on that, please?
What I mean by when I say the world is ruled by dead men, it's actually a quote I got from Dr. Miles Monroe. He said that first.
One of your mentors.
I read him a lot, and he really inspires me growing up.
Yeah, even me too, sir.
He's a very good man.
Yeah, I can believe with that.
One of the things, what it mean is that the world is ruled by dead men simply means that many of the knowledge we need or we use today are actually knowledge that has been created years ago. That has been written down years ago, passed on. So the men who curated that, they are not alive, but their principles, their knowledge is still running the show today. For example, we talk a lot about democracy. Democracy is a Greek philosophy.
Yeah, sure.
Developed by the Greeks.
Yeah.
It's a political idea developed by the Greeks, political system of governance developed by the Greeks. And yet the people who founded that idea are no longer alive, but it's still democracy ruling our world today. So the world is ruled by dead men. In the sense that their knowledge, their books, their discoveries are helping us today, even though they are no longer alive. We read the books of the likes of Dr. Miles Monroe today, who yesterday made it exactly
about Einstein and the rest.
Exactly, but they are still alive through their books.
Like even Jesus Christ. Okay, Jesus is alive. That one is really alive. It's really alive.
That one is alive.
That one is actually, that's a different thing. Okay, so most persons, we all are experienced. We've had a past.
Sure.
We've had traumatic experience, some good, some bad moments in our past, and I think for humans, we think we have moved on from our past. Yes, bodily we have moved on, but mentally we're still in our past. Just like there's a place in the Bible that says they went back to Egypt in their mind.
Yeah.
The people of Israel, like, they left Egypt physically, they're in Canaan, but their thought were still back in Egypt. So, sir, and I believe that people's past, your experience and your background plays a role in the kind of life you live, or also plays a role in achieving the kind of life you want. So, sir, how can people detach themselves from the past so that they can be able to move on to, I'll say, that promised land, so that they can have the kind of life they want? Because your past and your experiences plays a big role, and a lot of persons are not even aware about this.
Sure.
Most people are not aware. Like, I think that the statistic says only 50% of humans out of the whole population are self-aware. So you keep having the same life. You wake up in the same morning, you keep having the same life, and you don't know why it's happening. Somebody wrote to me 3 days ago and asked me, said, "Sir, how can I stop having the same experience over and over again?" I said, "Stop thinking the same way." Yeah. So he says, so how can people detach themselves from that past experiences, even if it seems so real, so that they can have the future they want?
My goal, or the why of all that I do is that I believe deeply that your background, your past experiences, and your environment should determine the quality of life you live and the future you are capable of creating. That is the framework that guides all the things I do, including the bookshop that I run.
Okay.
It's geared towards helping people achieve that. Because your reality is your reality.
Yeah.
You can't deny that. You are not imagining it. It's real. It's your reality. Getting past your past, it's so important in living the life that you want to live. And how that works is that, first of all, you need to realize that you have a choice. And your choice can either make you or mar you. So you must begin with realizing that this has happened.
Okay.
But this happened, and acknowledge it, accept it. You cannot go over a past that you are denying its reality. So a lot of people are trying to change qualities. One of the hardest things that you can ever help people achieve is to see themselves the way they are, not the way they think they are. Not the way they've been told they are. The way they are themselves is one of the hardest things you can ever get people to do. Because in our mind, there's this image of ourselves, this ideal selves we have about ourselves that usually doesn't correlate to who we really are. So if we are to get past our past, we must realize that our past is only as powerful as we allow it.
Oh, wow. That's strong. That's strong.
There are always two constructs. There's a thing, there's what you can control.
Okay.
There's what you cannot control.
True. I relate with that. Yeah.
You cannot control what happened to you, but you can control how you react and respond to it.
To what happened to you.
So your past has happened. That's why it's the past. It only exists in your memory. Right? But you must realize that, first of all, accept it. This is what happened to me. This is what my past is. Right? Once you accept it, the next thing, you have the power to do what? Forgive yourself and forgive whoever is involved. Now, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is not that you don't remember it. No. Forgiveness is that the memory does not come with revenge.
Wow. Okay.
That's what it means. So when I remember it, I don't have the need to want to revenge. It doesn't trigger emotions anymore, negative emotions anymore. That is when you are forgiving, and you have to let go. And one of the ways to do that is to say it with your mouth. Oh, I forgive this person. I forgive myself of this. Say it again and again and again until it lets go. And the third thing you need to do is that you have to reframe your experience. You see, your experience can become a powerful story, or it can become a story that propels you forward, or a story that hinders you. See, we are all a product of the story we tell ourselves.
True. Yeah, I believe that.
Two persons. I read a story years ago of two brothers who, their father was a drunkard.
Okay.
A stark drunkard. I mean, really drunkard. And one of them grew up to become a drunkard. The other one grew up to become a medical doctor.
Wow.
And both of them were interviewed. That what happened? How come you guys were raised by the same father, but you ended up as a drunkard? The other one ended up as a medical doctor. What happened? And they both said the same thing. The one that ended up as a drunkard said, I saw my father as a drunkard, so I became one. The other one that ended up as a medical doctor said, I also saw my father as a drunkard, and I decided I will not live like that.
Wow. So the power of choice,
The same thing, but the way they framed it was what makes the difference.
Wow. That's powerful.
So instead of you seeing yourself that, I've gone through this issue in my life, and I'm done for, why not see it as, I've gone through this issue in my life, I want to use it to inspire other persons and help them come out of it. The same thing, different interpretation.
That's powerful.
One of the things you must learn, and this has helped me a lot, nothing in life has meaning except the meaning you ascribe to it.
You're correct, sir. I agree with that 100%.
So when you are dealing with your past, you must realize that, it has happened. It's true. I'm not denying the reality. I'm not even using this as an excuse, because one of the things that can happen to you is that you can use your past to become the excuse why you are where you are.
Okay.
And there's something about excuse. All your excuses are valid. You are not lying. You were raped. You are not lying.
It happened really.
It's real. But you can't make excuse and make progress at the same time. You can't do both. I know you can't do both. Your excuse can exclude you from the kind of life you want to live.
Yeah.
And there's something deceptive about excuse. It makes it look like it's not your fault.
Like you're shifting the blame to somebody
Exactly.
else.
It's not my fault. It's because this happened to me.
That's why I'm like this.
That's why I'm like this. So you relinquish your power of choice.
Something else, somebody else.
So you make it look like, oh, it's the next person. It's not me. It's not my
Yeah.
fault. So why are you where you are now? You say, my dad, if I've come from a very wealthy family. But you didn't come from a wealthy family. You can see the reality. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
So I always, when people share their excuse with me, I always ask them, so what next? Now that it has happened, so what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Because he forces you to take responsibility. In the words of Winston Churchill, he said responsibility is the price of greatness.
Wow.
You have to take responsibility, not push it to someone else. Oscar Wilde said, no man is finished until regret takes the place of dreams.
Wow. So much powerful words. So much powerful.
So, as far as you still have a dream, Dr. Miles Monroe said, the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without a purpose, life without a dream.
Yeah.
So, you must keep the dream alive. So, what kind of man are you going to become? And in getting over your past, I'll say this last.
Okay.
This will help you. You see, life is in phases. Men are in sizes. Never allow a phase define you. There are many people who find their identity in the phase that they are in, and that's wrong.
Yeah.
Because, see, you must realize that in life, you are allowed to grow, to evolve, to get better.
Yes, that's been part of we be human.
You are allowed. It's allowed. Today, you're selling pure water. Tomorrow, you can move into IT.
Yeah.
Next tomorrow, you can decide not to even toy that part and go into another.
Probably politics. Or
You are
something
allowed
bigger.
to grow, because a lot of times the reason why many people are not willing to start their growth journey is because they feel that if I change who I say I am today, it means I'm a fraud. Let me give you an example.
Okay,
I'm a social media manager.
Okay.
I've posted on my social media handles. Oh, I've told everybody that's who I am. That's become my identity.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I want to move into the corporate event management world space. Then I'm scared to come out and tell people that I'm no longer doing this. I'm not doing this. People get scared. Like, won't they say I don't know what I'm doing with my life?
like, yeah.
No, you are evolving. You are growing.
Yeah.
It's called growth.
Sure.
So once you realize that this has happened to me, but I'm allowed to grow
beyond
it, then you can start.
Okay, I'm talking about identity. I think I read the book Psycho-Cybernetics.
Beautiful material.
Yeah, I'm telling you seriously. You need to grab that book, Psycho-Cybernetic. So one of the things I learned there is when it comes to defining your life or your purpose, your identity matters a lot.
Sure.
You know, two persons could have the same experience, but they define themselves different. I'll share my story. I didn't grow up from a family that we had so much. But all these years, I had a lot of experiences when it comes to lack that actually kind of like frame my brain to survive when it comes to money. I'm afraid to take risks because of my past. But through God's word, I was able to change that identity that my supply is not based on what I have on the bank or what I have with me on my pocket. And one of the things I've come to learn when it comes to finance is money is not what you have in your pocket.
Yeah.
Money is the wealth of knowledge that you have. So most persons struggle with identity. True. They identify themselves with the material they have, the experience they've been, even down to their ethnic or their region where they are. So it's so difficult for most persons to even find purpose when they've not dealt with identity. So how can someone deal with that identity issue so that they can move on to know who they are or their purpose?
The thing is this, first of all, you must realize that everything that you are right now, it was learned. Your identity too was learned.
True. Yeah.
He who finds his sense of personal worth in the things that he possesses should make sure never to lose his possession. That is to
Strong
say,
words again. Strong words.
our sense of identity is not based on what we possess.
True.
And identity simply means how you are known.
God, correct.
So when you say, what's my identity, it simply means how you are known. That's why they call it identity card.
Yeah.
What you need to present
I
to recognize you. That is what it means. And nobody can define their identity by themselves. It has to be by the Creator's manual. You have
True.
to know how, it's what the Creator says this is.
You are. That's the truth. That's
You
what accept.
So your identity begins with how God defines you. If you miss that, it's harder when you don't have a knowledge of how God defines you. You must see yourself like that.
Yeah.
So it begins with discovering exactly what has God said about me.
Yeah.
Once you get that on board, then that frames your identity into what can I do?
Yeah.
Because purpose is, many times, purpose just means why. Why are you doing what you are doing? So, having been made by God, who are we and what are we living for? Purpose simply means what you are living for.
Yeah.
It cannot be material things. Material things is what helps you to live better. But that's not what you are living for. They are not the same thing.
Okay.
They are not the same thing. Just like food. Food helps you to survive. But food is not what keeps you alive. What keeps you alive is your spirit.
That's true, yeah.
But you need food to
The body.
for the body to live.
Life, yeah.
The same way it is that our purpose,
Yeah.
right, cannot be material pursuit. But do we need material things?
100% we do, yeah.
It makes life easier, more comfortable, and it can make a lot of things happen. But that's not what we are living for. And your purpose must be to add value to others.
So I said something like, we don't see things the way things are. We see things the way we are.
Yeah.
That has to do with perception and worldview. I think some persons, they do hold on to a certain kind of worldview. Some people are living in oblivion. They're not even living in reality. Like
True.
you talk about, people they don't want to own up. They don't want to believe something happened to them. So that's perception, and it can actually affect the way they actually interpret reality, something that happens. So how can, especially the youth of today, the younger generation, how can they direct their perception positively so that it can be able to affect their life positively?
Okay, perception is so important. In fact, how you perceive something determines how you receive it. How you receive it determines how you treat it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It determines how you respond to it. Our life is largely ruled by your perception, how you see things, how you interpret things. And I always say to people that perception is more powerful than reality.
Just hold it up there. Perception is more powerful than reality. Okay.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
People who, let's use God for example. I think everybody can relate with this.
That's a perfect example for me.
God has never changed.
True.
So when we have the correct interpretation of God's word, we see who God truly is.
True.
What changes is not God, but our perception of
By him. Yeah.
God has never changed. But how you have been seeing him has been the issue.
Yeah.
So some see him as an angry God who wants to kill them. Others see him as a loving God who loves you till you are saved. And once you are not saved and you commit
You're
sin,
on your own.
you become his enemy.
Some see him as tax master.
Exactly. So it depends on how you see. But he has never changed. But man's perception has always been changing. So your perception is more powerful than the reality, because you can be looking at the reality, but the way you see it is the problem.
Different definition.
And how you respond to it determines how you live, how you see it rather determines how you live. So how do you manage your perception? You must use your perception as a fuel for growth, for determination,
Okay.
for stamina, rather as a fuel for stagnation and remaining the way you are. For example, some people say, oh, it's so difficult in Nigeria economy. Oh, I always tell people, sometimes it's not about the country, it's about how you see the country, how you view the country.
That's difficult for a lot of people to accept too.
If you can change the way you see the world, you can change the world you see.
That's powerful.
Sometimes it's not about the thing, it's about how you see it. If you see marriage, for example, if you see ring as a chain,
Okay.
marriage as a prison,
Yeah.
you remember that you will be the prison warder.
True.
Or you will be the prisoner. Now, your view of it determines how you're going to do everything.
True. Yeah.
If you see men as scum, every action they do, they are going to
seen as
interpret
scum.
it. If you've ever seen a lady who inherently believes that no man can be kind to you without looking for something, you notice that such people usually find kindness suspicious.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
this person is unnecessary kind to me. Tell me
What
what
is he
you're
going to
looking
ask
for.
for me next time?
And you're like, no, I'm just being nice. I know,
don't
forget
really
about that
need
thing. I know people like that. Now, it's their worldview. Their perception is the problem, not the person.
Yeah.
So we must not use our perception to become hindrances to our growth.
That's
Oh,
a
the
strong
way
one.
why I am today is because of the way I see it. No, you can always change your perception. Oh, things are difficult. That's why I'll be more determined. I'm not denying the reality.
Okay.
I'm just changing the way I see it. The way I interpret it. Things are difficult. True, the economy is hard. Nobody is saying you are lying. But that was why I will become more determined. Now I've used my perception as a fuel for growth. Instead of things are hard now, that's why I don't even know, my life is just scattered. What do I do now? I beg you, I just give up.
Yeah.
It's the same situation, but different reaction based on how we perceive it to be. So we must always use our perception as a fuel for growth, for determination, for tenacity,
Yeah.
rather than giving up and remaining and maintaining the status quo.
Yeah. One of the things I teach, or the foundation of what I do, mindset shift, is this: I don't base reality. No, I actually agree with facts,
Yeah.
but I don't define my reality based on what I can see.
Yeah.
These few years I've been able to adapt to this positive mindset, and I see that I easily navigate from negativity to positivity.
Yeah.
The truth is, as humans, we've psychologically wired to see truth as material. The material world is truth. Like you talk about Nigeria, every day I hear the cries of people saying the country is too hard, the country is like this, like this. But there are some persons who are making it in this country positively. I'm positively.
And they are
a lot, even more than. The truth is that people who are making it in the right way in Nigeria are more than those making it in a negative way.
True.
Some persons believe that, even some people in politics, they are stealing the public's funds. No, some are not. Some are not. So you see, your perception matters a lot. So I think, or I'm going to put this question like this: how can people change their perception? How can they change their perception? Because you talk about perception, it's how the world view, how we see things. But how can somebody who has a negative perception of everything, life, how can they change their perception? What are the tools they need, or what are the mindset they need to have to be able to change that perception?
The first thing you need to do when you want to change your perception is to have a fluid mind. What I mean by that is to have a flexible mind. There are two sets of people that can't change. A dead man cannot, a fool will not. So, first of all, you must have a fluid mind that, I can change. And you must realize that your worldview, your perception may not be all there is. Sometimes it's how you are seeing it.
True, not how the world truly is.
Not how the world truly is. And one of the ways to really change your perception is to engage in honest conversations with people and just read books.
People shy away from honest conversation.
Read your research. Read about it. Just read generally about it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's the information that forms, it's called information.
Sure.
Inside formation.
Nation.
Inform. So it forms your inside.
Inside.
If you want to change it, you have to open yourself up to new truth, new realities.
Yeah.
That's what books does to you. It helps you. That's what a book does to you. It helps you to explore different views by different persons. Oh, you see the way this person thinks?
Yeah.
One of the ways you know people who don't have a flexible mind is that they cannot hold conversation without leading to insult. So once you try to question their beliefs, they can't
they
host
feel
perspective.
threatened.
They feel threatened and start insulting you or, saying all kind of negative things to you. That's how you know that they don't read most times.
But shouldn't someone guide? Shouldn't you guide if you have an opinion about something and you believe it's true? Shouldn't you guide your opinion?
It's an opinion, for crying out loud. Everybody is subject to one.
Okay.
It's just an opinion. It's not a fact. This is what I think.
Yeah.
This is what you think. So it's just an opinion. It's not a fact. So I should be open to people's worldview, how people see and interpret things. It helps you to see things from a different perspective.
What if you deem it dangerous? You should still be open to explore, right?
One of the things is that you said, what if it is what?
If you deem it dangerous.
Open your. The thing is this: the reason why you are flexible is because you want to arrive at a what? Being flexible. Let me put it this way. I think to help. Being flexible doesn't mean that you are accepting everything you're coming across. It just means you are able to host thoughts.
Yeah.
I can hear you out. It doesn't mean I agree. It doesn't mean I buy into it.
Yeah.
But I can just hear you out.
Yeah.
So-
I get it now. I get it.
This country, things are so difficult. Nobody can make it in this country. Then yes, somebody say no, somebody else can make it. Instead of telling the person, keep quiet. What are you talking about? I can't. Just
Why
say
you
okay.
listen?
Why did you say people can make it in this country? Let me hear you. It doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything you're going to say,
Exactly,
but I
yeah.
just want to hear you say something.
Yeah.
And from there, I can say, based on what you say, now this thing makes sense.
Yeah, you can plot two things together.
You can choose what to pick from it and
Yeah.
what not to. But showing the person up because he has a different opinion makes you look uneducated. You just can hear the person out. Let me hear
Yeah.
what he or she has to say.
Yeah, that's true. I was with some couple of friends one time, and they were talking about the country, and I stood up and I said, "This is my view or my opinion, that I want to have a word that I believe I can influence positively.
Yeah.
And I don't believe if Nigeria is bad, it's going to be bad like this forever. I believe I myself can change something." And one guy just stood and said, "It will never happen. It will never happen." The thing is, I was giving them, in fact, I was just being open, like, okay, let's expand our mind. I was giving them all options, factors. They just don't want to look into it.
The thing is this, many people don't understand that the purpose of education is to replace an empty mind with an open one. It's not the acquisition of certificates,
Okay.
nor the accumulation of knowledge. No, the purpose of education is to help people, is to replace an empty mind with an open one.
Yeah.
Now, most people, the challenge they face is that once you talk about Nigeria, they just believe that it is bad. Everything is bad. The light shine brighter when the darkness
Correct. True.
is thicker, as it were.
Exactly.
So, you should see that it boils down to how you interpret things.
Yeah. How you see and how you interpret things.
Exactly.
True.
Two persons. I read a story of two guys who went to India for a vacation.
Okay.
So when they were in their hotel room, one of the guys looked through the window and was like, "Wow, look at millions of people without shoes. Can you imagine these people are so poor? They even walk on barefoot. They can't even afford shoes." And both of them were from the US.
Yeah.
They can't even afford shoes and all. Man, these guys are so broke. I've never seen poor people like this in mass.
Yeah.
And the other guy walked over to the window, looked through, and said to himself, wow, thousands of people without shoes. What if I just ship shoes to this place?
Wow.
I'll be a billionaire.
Wow.
He dropped out of school,
Solution mindset.
went back to US, dropped out of school, and that's how he found one of the biggest brands. I think I'm trying to remember the name now. Found one of the biggest brand that started making shoes. He dropped out of school.
Wow.
The same situation, two different interpretations.
A disability can actually be an ability in someone else.
It's how you use it. It's how you interpret it.
Yeah, you think, be able to think deep.
The very
Spoil
fact that
mind.
Nigeria has a lot of problem in my mind means that I have something valuable to contribute.
Exactly. That's my mindset, bro.
I can do something. So it means no matter what I do is relevant because there are different problems in different sectors.
Exactly.
So just choose one and try to solve the problem. The problem we're having is that we lack people studying problems.
So we have more people who complain about
Exactly.
problems. And I think that's a weak mindset.
It's a weak mindset.
Wow.
So we lack people studying problems. We need a lot of people to sit down and study what problem can I solve. And that's where money comes in. That's where being valuable comes in.
Yeah.
What problem can I solve? Or what problem am I training myself to be able to solve?
Okay, talking about value now. Talking about value. Being a person of value.
Yeah.
You know, just like you're talking about the Nigeria situation. Do you know there's been this cry in my heart? We've been talking about poor leadership. And I asked myself, what if someone sets an example of good leadership?
Sure.
And I do tell people, being a good leader doesn't mean you have to last in the office for 8 years. In fact, I understand that if you want to be a good leader, you might even be voted out because of the cabal or because of the system. But you setting an example in the hearts and the minds of people, that's value.
True.
You've already created value. So I think in these times, people are scared of, in fact, people don't understand what value means.
Yeah.
Like I said, one of the episodes we had on Rewire, like success should not be defined from your environment, your past experience, or your traumas, because still some persons who live in a poverty environment, making it, having money, that's success to them.
Yeah.
But you just talked about, let's use Nigeria as an example now. Looking at the environment, we have a lot of problems, and that is how we trying to bring a solution. That's why we're trying creating value for ourselves. So, how do you think the generation, the youth of this generation, can actually, inspire themselves to create value for themselves, knowing that there are problems in the world, not only in Nigeria, in Africa at large, there are problems. And I think someone in Nigeria can solve a problem in America.
Sure.
We
The
think
world is not a
these
global
guys
village.
exactly. So how can people create sense of value?
First off, I'll say two things. But firstly, I'll say that people need to sit down and define what success means to them.
First of all, bam.
Not what success means to another person. What success is to you. I have 3 definitions of success for myself.
I want to hear them, sir.
First of all, I define success as when I discover
Yeah.
and I'm fulfilling God's plan and purpose for my life. That is my first definition of success.
That's the number one,
So
alpha.
when I discover God's plan and purpose and I am fulfilling it, then I'm successful.
Okay.
My second definition of success is when I achieve the things I want to achieve without compromising my person and my values. So when I achieve the things I want to achieve without compromising who I am and what I stand for, I can be said to be successful. So if I make money by cheating you, that is not success to me because I compromised my value.
Hey. To a lot of persons, that is success.
But for me, it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
That's why I don't admire people who make money illegally.
That's
You
tons
get-
up for me for that. Tons up, bro.
My third definition of success is what even brought me here. When I'm impacting my world with the investment in my personality, that's to me success. You see, I've not mentioned cars, I've not mentioned houses, I've not mentioned
Not at all.
clothes.
Not at all.
Do I need those things? Yes. Will I have those things? Yes.
Of course, you will have it.
But they are not how I define success. So that once you get your definition right, then you need to find out what is valuable. What is value rather? In the words of Dr. Miles Monroe you quoted earlier, if you want to be successful, do not seek success. Seek to become a person of value. Because success is a result, not a pursuit.
Wow. How to work.
It's a result. It's not a pursuit. It is what you get after. It's like a byproduct of something.
Yes.
So
it's an effect of something.
And one of the things that makes you successful is to become a person of value. What is value? I'll give you two definitions of value, but I'll give you my favorite.
Okay.
Value is when you solve a problem that people need.
Okay.
Not just when you solve a problem. When you solve a problem that is relevant to a people, you are said to be valuable. So you are more valuable based on the problem you solve.
You solve. Okay.
Why is Jesus so important? Why is Jesus so indispensable? He's so indispensable because he solved the greatest problem of humanity, sin and death and the devil.
Exactly.
That's what he solved. I don't know anybody who rose from the dead.
No, nobody. No.
But I know someone who rose from the dead.
Yeah, I know.
So he solved the problem of death.
Exactly.
That's why you just can't remove him from the equation.
No, not at all. You can't. You can't.
That's why he's the most valuable
person on
man
earth
in the world. Because he solved the greatest problem of man.
Yes.
So when you solve problem, you become valuable. Value, let me give you this, my favorite definition of value.
Okay.
Value is whatsoever is useful to the user.
Okay. Whatsoever is useful to the user.
Let me explain. What I simply mean is that you are not the one who defines value. I am the one who defines it.
Okay.
You can bring something useful to me, useful in itself, but it's not useful to me, it's not valuable to me.
I think I can relate with that.
This is why when you go to the market, you don't buy children clothes for yourself.
Yes.
Are children clothes valuable?
Of course it is.
Are they useful? Yes.
Yes, of course.
Are they useful to you? No.
No. Because I don't wear them.
Is it valuable to you?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
That is why you notice that those children clothes advertisements are not tailored to the children, they are tailored to the parents.
The parents, yes. Because
So once you get what is value, begin to develop yourself. What is valuable to, what is useful to people around this environment? What is useful to Nigerians? What is useful to us? How can I position myself to bring that usefulness to play? Once you can tick that box, you are already a person of value.
Yeah.
And money follows value. If our money is a storehouse of value.
True. I agree
Real
with
money
that.
is invisible. You can't really see it with your eyes.
Exactly.
The paper we hold is just a representation of value. Value is perceived. That's why the same bottle of water you buy here, 15 naira, you may buy it in the hotel for 1,000 naira. It's just the perception that changes, not the content. So once you get that right, I'll say this as a bonus, and I say this to people who want to start a business. They say, well, what kind of business do I need to start? I tell them, well, there are so many things I can tell you, but you need to look out for. But look out for these three things. Look for what people want now, what they are able to pay for, and what they are willing to pay for.
Yeah.
Once you can tick these three boxes, you're already in business.
You have a plan, you have an idea of business to do.
So do they want it?
First, that's the first one. Do they want it?
Can they pay for it?
Okay.
Are they willing to pay for it?
Oh, okay.
There are many things that I want,
but you can't pay for it.
I can't pay for it.
And you're not willing to pay for it, actually.
I may be willing to pay for it, but I can't pay for it. So
Yeah.
I can't. That's why you don't have a car showroom in the university.
No.
Why?
No.
Do the students want it?
Yes.
Are they willing to pay for it?
No.
Yes. Are they able to pay for it?
No, they can't.
So you are not their target audience.
Yeah. But if you go to the celebrity world, trust me, they want it, they'll pay for it.
They
can't
tick the
pay
three
for
boxes.
it. Exactly.
So becoming a person of value is developing yourself to a point where you are able to solve people's problem. You are able to present people with something that is useful to them, and they give you money in exchange for it. Money cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only move from one person
To another.
so if it's not flowing to you, it's because you don't have something that attracts it. And what is that thing that attracts it is called value. What is value? Whatever is useful to the user. So if money is not coming to you, it simply means that you don't have something that is useful to a user. So your goal is to begin to first find out what is useful to these people. Then how do I become that person that possesses it that they look for me?
This is really a big bonus. To those who are there who are trying to figure out what business you want to do, this is a big bonus. And this is why you should follow Rewire or subscribe.
Very important.
Wow, this is so beautiful, sir. This is so beautiful now. Okay, sir, you've enlightened us on how to find value or create value now. There's a part of selling where you have to market this value to people. So how can you present or sell the value to people?
One of the ability anybody needs to develop in our world today is the ability to sell.
I accept that.
It's one of the most basic. And in life is like a marketplace. You can liken life to be like a marketplace. Everybody's selling. Whether you are conscious about it or not. You walk into an interview, you are selling yourself. You want to ask a lady out to marry you, you are selling yourself. Because the question she's asking, that she may not directly ask you, but that's the question she's asking. Why should I marry you? Why should I leave everybody and choose you? You are selling yourself.
It's a selling word, actually.
What is selling? I think the challenge is that many persons, when they want to learn, when they hear about something, they don't begin their learning from the very basics. The art of selling is simply helping people see value in something and helping them take action based on the value they see. That is selling 101. So I'm helping you see value in something, and I'm helping you take action based on the value they see. Remember, I said earlier that value is whatever is useful to the user. So I'm helping you see how this is useful to you, and I'm helping you take action based on the value, how useful it is to you. So that taking action is where the transaction takes place.
Okay.
When you're writing it, they call it CTA, call to action. It's where you call the person to action, right? So once you have gotten value, the question now is, how do I communicate this value? How do I help this person see that this thing is useful to this person? Once you can bridge that gap, you are already in sales. You are already selling. So it is then you can now begin to learn about people's psychology, right? When you realize that people buy things. I love the way Simon Sinek put it in his book, Start With Why. He said, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
Yes, that's true.
So that needs to be in your construct when you are communicating to people about value that they have. Then social media, should I use social media handles? Should I go on Facebook, TikTok? Those things are medium of disseminating your information. That's why it's called social medium. The word media there is the plural word for the word medium, which just means a channel for distributing or disseminating your information or your product. So that's where people converge. Once you know what is useful once you have what is useful, you know the user is useful, that needs it, then you cannot ask yourself, how do I reach these persons? Where do they congregate? Where do they gather? How do I reach these persons? Then you can build your marketing funnel to reach them. So that tells you if they are on Instagram, if they are on TikTok, if they are on Facebook, then you cannot reach them through your social media handle. Realizing that the goal is to make sure that they see how useful it is to the user.
Yeah, I think that's where relationship comes in. You talk about selling, the understanding how relationship work on association can actually help you to be able to sell. You understand? I put out a post recently, and I said, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to business, you don't get too familiar. And you take away the place of doing business. Like, you're my friend. Like, okay, you come today, you want something, I give you a loan tomorrow. I give you a loan tomorrow. If I keep doing that every time, I am going to definitely lose out of business. And there's this thing about, I used to tell people, like, people don't care about you the way you care about yourself. So people will keep asking. They won't stop. So it's for you to draw a line. I said, no, at this point, I cannot give out again because I have limited resources, or because you come to discover that these persons, they are not just coming because they are in lack, they're coming because they want to use you. So, sir, how can one be able to maximize relationships, or with the knowledge of being able to understand people and how they react psychology, and how you can use it to the advantage of creating the kind of life you want?
Relationship is the key to life, right? Relationship is the key to life. You cannot live life without people. Isn't it also interesting that many persons are looking for something,
Yeah.
but they are ignoring people, and yet everything on earth is in the hands of someone.
True.
Someone is
I agree with
controlling
that.
it.
Yeah.
You need 500,000 naira right now in somebody's account.
True,
Sitting,
true.
resting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything you need is in someone's account. So could it be that you've been ignoring some persons? Relationship is the key to life. God's method of doing things is man. God's strategy for getting things done
Sure, man.
is man. God's way of getting things done is through man. Why are you ignoring people? It's not so interesting that Jesus came to save the world. The very first thing he did, the moment he came down from the mountain after 40 days fast, was to choose 12 men. I don't understand. He needed people to get the assignment done. So if you are this person that don't value people, you already have put a roadblock, a cap on your success, on how much you can go.
Can be achieved.
Because men are the open doors. I didn't say men just open doors. They are the open doors. Men are the access. Men are the wisdom. Men are the opportunity.
They are the resources too.
Exactly. So we must not have a mindset that looks down on people. Because honestly speaking, tables can turn.
Anytime it can change. Anytime.
Tables can really very turn. And so we must value people. And how do you maximize relationship? You go into every relationship with the mindset of a contributor.
Wow,
Add value to
that's
someone.
powerful. Yeah.
What can I do to make this person's life better? It's not just about give me.
Just take from the person.
So you are always taking from the person. You have never given anything of value. Commit to people long term.
Yeah.
Be loyal to people. Those are things you can bring in loyalty. Be resourceful to people. Add value to people. And the easiest way to add value to people is to value people. You cannot add value to someone that you don't place value on.
You know, sorry, I'm going to cut you here. What you just said is true. You know, there are so kind of persons who they have this victim mindset. Like they keep asking for people. They want to get from people. So the moment you're like, okay, can I get something for you? And they just suck into that victim mood. Like, can't you see I'm bad? Can't you see I know of somebody who, anytime the person needs money, run up to me, and I'm always giving. But sometimes when I can't just give, it becomes a problem. Like, and I feel like, but I've been giving all the time. Just once I'm now a bad person. You see, people have this victim mindset. They always want to collect. They don't want to give. And I think that if you have that kind of mindset, you definitely going to destroy relationship that might actually catapult you to the next level.
Exactly. If you have those kind of mindsets, you can't sustain relationship
At all.
Remember, it is relationship. It's both ways.
Yeah.
It can't just be one-sided. I can't just be the only one giving. I also need to be able to receive.
Yeah.
Right. But I must be able to receive. There is always going to be one who gives more.
Of course, yes.
But
based on your capacity.
Exactly. But there must be something you receive.
Yeah.
I must be able to also receive something at the end of the day, which is very, very important. Never go into any relationship without having anything to offer. Mm-hmm. It may be your time. No matter how little, but at least contribute. Nobody's asking you to bring everything, but make sure you bring something valuable to the person's life too.
I think when it comes to relationship between a boy and a girl, a man and a woman, I find I see a lot of guys, when they're asking the lady out, they don't even ask what the lady can bring to them, because by societal construct, men has been programmed to always be the one to give. We program like that. So, and sometimes like you ask a lady, what can you give. There are a lot of things women can give. It's not the money. Don't always think because it's not about money. Women give a lot. They give a lot. Seriously, like some men, they only focus on what they can give, and I won't say that's Mr. Nice Guy syndrome, but it seems like that when a man focuses on only what they can give, and I think having that kind of mindset, you actually shortchanging yourself, and you won't be able to find the right partner. Yeah, by always thinking, okay, let's say people project or people go after people because of how they feel towards them. They don't go after people how they make them feel. I see a lot of guys, not just guys, girls, make that mistake relationship. Oh, this guy makes me feel like this. Oh, I have goosebumps over myself when I'm with him. But I ask the question, you've never told me how this person makes you feel. The sense of value, the respect, the empathy. So, you're talking about relationship. I think this is something that the male folks should actually pay attention to, and not just the male folks should, but it happens more with the male and also the women word. Okay, so you said one of the ways we give value to people is by serving them. How can we define true service and receive true service?
Coming from the line of value, when you talk about serving people or service, it's just rendering something that is useful to them. Okay. So in every relationship, we must learn to serve, and serving is not the same thing as servitude. That the fact that you are serving doesn't make you a slave. It just means that you are valuable. You are adding something. You are bringing something valuable to the table. You are adding to people's life. And in your relationships, you need to learn how to serve people.
Sure.
Serve them with your abilities, with your time, with your character. Right? Be somebody they can depend on. Being someone that is loyal. That's also part of service too. Being someone that people can bank on is also part of service. So service is so important. No one is useless in the world who help to lighten the burden of others. Mm-hmm. Leadership is in one word: service.
Okay.
There is no leadership without serving. Okay. So a leader is one who serves other persons. So if you are not willing to serve people, you cannot lead people.
What's true leadership, sir? So most persons, they define leadership as being in the front. Being in the front, I'm a leader. I'm the front. I'm the Egber. I'm the chairman. But for me, I think it's more than that. True leadership, it's just more than you being the front. Somehow you can actually be at the back and still be able to lead. True leadership?
Leadership simply means the ability. A man put it this way: to know where you are going, right, and being able to take other people there. So a leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. So he knows where he's going. But the word to lead, and there are two aspects of leadership. There is self-leadership and there's team leadership.
Okay, I think I would love to hear about that self-leadership.
Self-leadership is the ability to lead yourself, which is the hardest part of leadership, leading your own self. Now, the word to lead, when people hear leadership, what they hear is position.
True.
Position doesn't make you a leader. Position only reveals your ability to lead. It's like having a car.
Yeah.
Having a car doesn't make you a driver. Having a car only gives you the opportunity to give expression to your ability to drive or not.
Yeah.
So we can give you a car and we realize that you don't know how to drive.
True.
We can give you a car and we realize that you know how to drive. So leadership in itself does not begin with position. The word leadership, where we get the word lead, simply means when you hear that word, what comes to your mind is movement, direction. Now, if there is movement, there must be direction.
True.
If there's direction, there must be a destination. That destination is what they call vision.
Yeah.
So when you say I'm leading my life, question is, where are you leading it to?
Life to.
There's a destination. That destination is what people call vision. And when you are not going to take other persons to go with you, you have to now learn the ability to communicate it. So they tell you a leader must be able to communicate.
Yeah, the vision to the people.
Then how do you get there? That's where planning comes in.
Yeah.
Then staying the course till you get there is where
So
determination,
face.
tenacity comes in.
Yeah.
So what we call leadership competencies are inside the understanding of what leadership is. So leadership simply means that the ability to take human and material resources to achieve and accomplish a predetermined goal. So when I'm leading myself, first question is, where am I leading my life to?
So,
How do you get to that point? How do you get to find out those things? I always tell people, begin with the end in mind.
okay.
So imagine yourself at an old age, you are on a dying bed, and what you have your friends, your family all around you,
Yeah.
and how would you describe the kind of life you've lived? What is the picture of that kind of life you say, oh, this is the kind of life I live?
Yeah.
This is so important. Years ago, I read a book titled Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Wells. Now, in that book, the lady happens to be a caregiver
Okay.
who takes care of older people who are about to die and or who have terminal illnesses, who are just
Yeah.
close to the grave anyway. And in her caregiving services, she gets to interact with them and then form a relationship,
Relationship with
and
them.
they share their regrets with her. So she wrote the top 5 regrets.
And what are the top 5 regrets?
The number one regrets will interest you. It says, I wish I had the courage to live the life that I wanted, not the life others expected of me.
Oh, wow. That's so powerful.
There are many persons who have never lived the life that they wanted because they are scared of being judged. They are not true to themselves. So they live a life that's not really what I want to live, but based on what people are saying. So you must realize that you must get to that point in your life where this is the life I want to live and you must choose it.
Yeah.
F. Scott Federer said, I hope you live a life that you are proud of. And if you find out that you are not, I hope you find the strength to start all over again.
Yeah.
Define the life that you are proud of. That is so important. And the best way to do it is to begin with the end in mind. How do I want my life to be at the end of the day? Let's say I'm now on my deathbed. How would I describe my life? And the moment you start with the end in mind, honestly, you see the kind of life you really want to live.
But I think it's easier for most people to vision the end. Like, okay, well, when it comes to success, now when it comes to vision, I think that's most people don't know what vision is. If you ask some persons, they'll tell you vision is get a job, go to school, get a house.
Those are activities.
Thank you very much.
They are not vision.
So the difference between activities and vision.
True.
You know, so I think I was talking to someone about purpose one time, and there's this divine thought that just dropped in me. And God said to me, he said, for you to make people quickly realize or come to understand what purpose means is to ask them the book you want to write. And I was in a conference and I asked a lot of persons, which book, what is the book? You can write a lot of books on marriages, money, sport, and whatever, but there is a book. Which book will you want to write? Do you know, 80% of the came back and said they don't even know. So then they discovered that their life had no vision.
A lot of persons don't lead their life, they just accept it.
True. They're reacting to life, they're not creating life.
Because it's tough to do that.
Actually, sure. Yeah.
Right? When you don't know where you are going, every road will look like it. And the worst part is that you won't even know when you've arrived.
Wow, that's powerful.
So most times, some people cannot even define what is it that they want to live. And I do understand that sometimes clarity can be a journey.
True, yeah.
But we must not be stuck. We must keep making progress.
Yeah.
And allow ourselves to evolve. So what is it that you want to do? Apart from the fact that we are going to live for the Lord, if you are a believer, you're going to live for the Lord, do the work of God, get other people saved, getting to know about Jesus, and all, which is our purpose for living.
First of all.
But we also have what we call communal impacts, where because we are living with other persons, we want to do something that affects people's positively.
Life.
That one is subject to your decisions. It's subject to your inclinations, your leanings, your your passion, your orientations really do affect that.
Yeah.
And it's flexible. You are free to become anything you want to be. You can decide to say, okay, I want to go into the medical world and be able to help people
Provide
in their
solutions in
health.
the medical
You can wake
field,
up tomorrow and say that you are not doing that, you want to go into another thing, and you'll be able to do that. So first of all, find out what exactly would you want to do for other persons that you find fulfillment in. Success is when your actions bring people happiness
Yeah.
and make them better.
Make them
so we
happy.
must begin with that understanding, that begin with the end in mind. Once you can picture the end in mind, you can start off from where you are. Right? And that's how things have been created. Everything is created twice. One, first in the mind, then in reality. You want to build a house, the very first thing you think about
You have
is,
to imagine the house.
what kind of house do I want to build? How do I want it?
Yeah.
Before you even start the construction.
Yeah.
So in the same vein, sit down and have a life design 101. What kind of life would I want to live? Because we realize that there are many things in your life you didn't choose. You didn't choose your parents, you didn't choose your family, you didn't choose your siblings, you didn't choose your color, your sex,
gender,
your nationality, your ethnic group. You didn't choose them. But one thing in life is that you can choose the kind of life you want to live.
Yeah.
That is subject to your choice.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I concur with that.
And the moment you realize that, I can choose the kind of life I want to live, and I live by it, every day I'm making steps. So sometimes people ask me, how do I know the right step to take per time rather? It's simple. Is it in line with where you are going?
First of all, you must know
where you are
direction.
going. Exactly.
Yeah.
And most times the reason why life does not favor some persons is because they don't have a clear direction. The life gives way for you when you know where you are going.
I think, yeah.
Imagine you get to the bus stop and somebody asks you, where are you heading to? And you say nowhere. Or anywhere.
Anywhere could be where you are right now.
I got somebody asking me for a job one time, and I said to the person, never ask somebody for something with this kind of attitude again. It's the greatest disadvantage you can ever have. And the person said, I'm looking for a job. I said, okay, what kind of job can you do? He said, anything. I said, anything. I said, what can you do? He said, anything, sir. And I said to the person, I'm saying this to you because I like you.
Yeah.
Never ask somebody for a job with this line again, anything. Because anything is nothing.
Anything means you can't do anything, actually. That means you can't do anything.
Where can you work? I can work anywhere.
No.
What do you mean by work anywhere?
Your office, your company is not
You should
anywhere.
be able to tell me something specific. Or even if you don't know exactly what the job is, but you can tell me, sir, I am very good at A, B, C, D. I have this certain qualities and experiences. I can do a job that encapsulates this.
Yes.
You are in a better position than just tell me anything. Then tomorrow I give you a job of 15,000 and you're hungry.
People struggle with specifics. That's the truth in life.
It
People
begins
struggle
with you
that.
sitting down to think through exactly what you want to do. Where am I going? How do I get there?
Yeah.
First of all, you must know where you are going. And knowing where you are going is begin with the end in mind. Because a lot of persons at the end of the day in their life, they have regrets. I wish I have done this.
Yeah.
Right? What is that kind of life you want to live? Be that person that is not afraid to choose the life they want to live. And not everybody will agree with it. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay
That's
to
fine.
sometimes.
We don't have to all agree.
Yeah.
Right? It's my life, not our life. It's not a community project. So it's my life.
Yeah.
We must not agree that this is what I want to do with my life.
Exactly.
Another question I will also help people ask that help them uncover the intent of their hearts in knowing the communal impact they would like to make. I always ask them, if you have all the money you need in life, you have all the relationships you need, you have all the access you need, you have all the opportunities you need, you have all the knowledge that you need, what kind of life would you live? How would you live? And when people begin to describe that, most times they tell you their ideal life that they only wanted to live. But the reason why they've not done this is because of fear of being judged, fear of being ridiculed, fear of if it doesn't work.
That's in fact, that one of if it doesn't work is really a very big one. I think fear has really stopped a lot of persons from achieving their dreams. Okay, so talking about fear, fear it's a killer of dreams. fear has actually stopped or hindered a lot of persons from achieving what they want to do. And something about fear psychologically, over the years, the human brain has evolved over time. We're no longer in the wide west, or we're no longer in the desert that at the sight of every sound and it's a danger. So we've evolved to a place that you can actually live or stay hours without meeting dangers, but the brain still work like it's still in the wide world. So most persons are actually paralyzed with fear, and there's a root. There's where this fear is coming from, and how can people be able to identify their fears and overcome it?
When it comes to fear is one of the things that have stopped a lot of persons, like you said. And we can learn to deal with it by, first of all, reflecting, why am I scared? What am I scared of?
True.
And it all begins with honesty. Just be honest with yourself. A lot of persons are not honest to be able to pinpoint that, see, I'm really scared of starting. I don't want to be seen as a failure. I don't want to be perceived as an amateur. I don't want to be perceived as somebody who doesn't know what he's doing. I'm having this fear of failure. What if it doesn't work? I'm having this fear of what will people say? What if I'm laughed at? I'm having this fear of being accepted. What if people don't accept me?
The honest conversation.
Once you know exactly what it is, the easiest way to deal with fears and insecurity is to throw knowledge at it. The easiest way to deal with fear and insecurity is to give it more knowledge. Any area of your life you are afraid of, just go and read more about it. Read everything about it. You realize that you become more confident, because fear most times is always an absence of knowledge. Two persons, if you read the Bible, you see when the prophet was, Elisha the prophet was being surrounded, and his servant was like, oh master, alas master, what shall we do? And he said, fear not. And he prayed the prayer and said, Lord, open his eyes that he may see. So just being able to see into the spirit, seeing the innumerable company of angels with you, kills that fear that the servant had. Now, what was that important? What did the side give? The side gave you certain access to certain information. So knowledge is the cure for us. Whether the knowledge comes from sight or it comes from God's voice. But what kills fear is knowledge itself. So when you are scared, it simply means there are certain things you don't know. That's why the same exam question that you are so scared of, somebody was so happy that the question came out. It's all a function of knowledge. So when somebody says, I don't know if I'm going to have money, the question is that, what do you even know about money?
To start with, first of all.
So once you have a wrong idea, once your knowledge is limited, you'll be scared. But knowledge breeds confidence, and that is one. Secondly, action. There is certain level of confidence you can only have that comes from competence. Being able to do something very well. That one, you cannot override it. If you don't know it, you don't know it. You can fake it in your bio, but when the rubber hits the road, you realize that you don't have such ability. So knowledge and action is the easiest way to deal with fear. The more you take actions, now, the more you do something, the more better you get, and the more the resistance decreases.
True. I agree with that. So, true.
Ralph Emerson said, he that persists in doing something, right? He that persists in doing something will get better. Not that the nature of the task has changed, but that the resistance has reduced.
Yes.
So the more you practice something, the more the fear dies. So fear only multiplies and remain in the absence of knowledge and absence of action. Just know about it, practice it, and the fear will reduce. So knowledge regulates fear. Whether the knowledge comes from seeing something or comes from hearing something. But you have to know something.
Okay. What role does the God factor play in our lives, or in we achieving? You've talked about purpose. The number one purpose, like your definition of purpose is, first of all, understanding why you're created, the divine purpose, the plan. So, to God, the concept of God or the divine to most persons it's really obscured. When they think about God, they think about their needs, their daily needs, think about their daily needs. And like someone asked me a question, why is the why for rewire? Transformation. And they asked me, okay, where does God play a role in this? I said, why is a gift from God to humanity, to everybody? That's why here we can discuss about anything. It's not just only the Bible. In fact, most of the things we've discussed about are actually from the Bible. You don't need to quote John 3:16 or what verse from the Bible, but that's the way from the wisdom of God. So I want you to be able to relate this this divine wisdom to day-to-day life, because the Christianity has no problem, but the challenge people face is being able to relate this life. I do tell people, I said, heaven is not a place you go to. Heaven is something on the inside of you, God in you, and heaven on earth is you expressing that reality to the earth. So how can the God factor play a role in we trying to live the life that we so desired? How does God help us in that?
It's difficult to navigate life without the God factor in it.
First,
because meaning comes from having a relationship with God. We can't live life without Him. And be fulfilled without God, the God factor in. Knowing what He has done for us.
Yeah.
Knowing first of all His purpose, because we are part of His plan and His purpose. So knowing Jesus gives meaning to our lives.
Yeah.
It is where we find identity. It is where we find what we are living for.
Yeah.
So in Him, in Christ Jesus, we know who we are. We know what we are living for. That is what life is about.
Yes.
And so when you remove that God factor, all you do is just a guesswork. At best, you just have communal impact. And people call communal impact purpose. That's not really purpose. That's communal impact.
That's communal impact.
Purpose is when you know, when you have a relationship with Jesus by having faith in what He did for you in His death, burial, in that your sins are forgiven and that He loves you, your sins are forgiven. Having a relationship with Him, then understanding why He created you to serve Him, to live for Him, and doing that is purpose. Right? That is purpose for a living. Realizing that life, God created two aspects of life.
Okay.
Two aspects of living. There's a natural, there's a supernatural. So, and they are together. So we are not just the only beings God created. God created supernatural beings. And again, with the introduction of sin and death into the world is not the way God designed it to be.
Yeah.
So right now we have forces that are adverse to God's plan.
God's plan.
And because we believers are in God's plan, they are adverse to us. And they have forces that are adverse to humanity in itself.
Yeah.
Right? So, and we have forces that are also for us too. And we have God on our side for us. So that plays a very major role. That we just can't live life without God's help, because we'll be at the mercy of the forces that are against us, the forces of darkness. And that puts us in a very dangerous place. But a man who is in a relationship with Jesus already have authority over those things and can see God's power at work, God's wisdom at work in navigating life every day. So in Christ Jesus we find meaning for our lives. In Christ Jesus we see help. In Christ Jesus we have the wisdom for living. In Christ Jesus we live as we ought to live, as we ought to be. In Christ Jesus. So life as it ought to be for a believer begins with God. And whether you like it or not, there's going to be the end of the world. Whether you believe it or not, you're believing it or you're not believing it doesn't change the reality. Right? And the earlier you get on God's side by believing in Christ Jesus as your Lord and Savior, the earlier you find meaning to existence and you find purpose for living. Every other thing else you do is just communal impact. Nothing wrong with having a communal impact, but you can't equate that for purpose. Purpose is having a relationship with God and living for His will and for His purpose for living.
And too bad that communal impact is what most people call purpose, or they pursue after. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on the show. I've really been blessed. Like, come on.
Thank you.
You're a bundle of wisdom. Seriously, you're a bundle of wisdom. I want to say thank you very much for coming. I'm so grateful. But before I go, I believe you have a word, 1 or 2 words for this generation, especially the young ones coming up. You have a word to them to enable them, find their vision or find purpose or be able to define the vision for their lives. Any word for them?
Well, what I would say to them is that life only finds meaning when you have a relationship with Jesus. That's where it all begins from. You cannot live your life without him. You are already at a disadvantage. And when you found Jesus, realize that knowing Jesus doesn't stop you from being relevant in the society. For crying out loud, you are living with people. So you must bring your distinctiveness to that sphere of influence. You must live as one and be able to add value to people. So you are not just relevant to God by knowing him and living for his purposes. In your natural endeavors, that you and your natural engagement and interactions with people, you are adding value to humanity, and in turn you are living a fulfilled life and living as God will have you to be. So brace up, be more determined, and be more focused on the kind of life that you are living for the Lord and living to have impact on humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we've come to the end of this conversation, and I know you really enjoyed yourself and you really learned a lot. For me, it's an eye-opening conversation for me. Now, the importance or the reason why you should subscribe to Rewire, so that you can get life-changing videos and transformative videos anytime we drop it on our channels, and so that we can also be able to reach out to a lot of persons and being able to bring intellectual minds on the show that can actually impact life. Our social handles will be screwed below on our platform, so make sure you subscribe, like, and share these videos, because the life can be dependent on it. Remember, a new life begins today. Let's keep shining the light till I see you next time. Bye from me, Sam Speaks. Peace.